Okay, so I decided to make it a thing. I went ahead and recorded a video sharing what perfumes I'm wearing for the third week of the year. So I was like, well, I might as well tell you all what I've been wearing so far week to week. So this is episode 1 in regards to my perfumes of the week. And I'm backtracking to basically tell you all what I wore the first week of the year. So I started off the year by basically wearing my perfumes from my Miss Dior collection. So I laid this tray out for the week, planning to try and wear all of these perfumes, but honestly I didn't. I kind of went back and forth between the same, honestly the same two. So let me just tell you about the ones I ended up not wearing. So this is Miss Dior Blooming Bouquet. This one is a fresh rosy peony scent, and the reason I didn't wear it is because during the first week of January here in Indiana, it was cold, and this is more of a warm weather perfume. I kept it out in case the weather kind of played with us and got warm, but it really didn't. So to me, this is something that I would have worn during like maybe 50-degree weather, but most of the time it was like 20 degrees. I think we had a week where our day where it was like -7. So this just didn't fit the weather. But I also enjoyed this, or I enjoyed keeping it out in case I took a shower at night. Most of the time I shower in the morning, but every once in a while I shower at night. And if I shower at night, then I prefer to wear something fresher that I assume will wear off by the morning. Which brings us to this other one that I had out. I definitely think of this as a post-shower perfume. So this is Miss Dior Rose and Roses. This one is fresh and light, but it doesn't have that peony smell. It's more of a rosy smell, obviously. So even though it's light, it still has a rosiness to it, which is more of a dark floral. So I guess I think of it as having a little bit more depth. But honestly, this also comes off to me as super girly. So this one to me is even more perfect for wearing after the shower because it definitely won't be around in the morning. The main issue with this for some people will be that Miss Dior Rose and Roses, for a lot of people, won't last that long. I don't mind it because every so often you need a perfume that you hope has worn off pretty quickly because you plan on switching perfumes after a certain amount of time. Okay, so let's look at the ones that I definitely wore a lot during the first week of January, or the first week of the year. So this is Miss Dior Eau de Toilette, the 2019 version. Should I go ahead and angle it that way because I'm tired of holding it? Sure. So I think I wore this one twice in the week, and when I wore it, I layered it with this lotion by Jergens. It's their energizing sweet citrus with citrus essential oil. These two go together so well because the Miss Dior Eau de Toilette has this rosy, orangey note to it, or scent to it, but it also has some patchouli in it to give it some depth. And even though this is an Eau de Toilette, I find for me that this one lasts a good amount of time, and it might be because I do layer it with the Jergens lotion. I mainly layer it to bring out that citrusy, orangey note, but I think it also just helps it to last a really long time. And when I wore this one, I feel like people noticed it, but no one really said anything. Let's move this around. So now we have the star of the week, Miss Dior Eau de Parfum, the 2017 version. I wore this one, I think, 2 or 3 times during the first week. And the reason I wore it so much was because the first time I wore it, I got like intense compliments on it. I did layer it. I layered it with Miss Dior Le Parfum. Yeah, the Miss Dior Le Parfum. This is the perfume oil by Oil Perfumery. But before I added that, I did also lotion up with You're the One body lotion by Bath and Body Works. So I think that combination might be why I got so many compliments that first time I wore it. Like, I went out to eat and I had a waiter, and he kept coming by the table, just checking on me, kind of, I guess, more than necessary because I was good on drinks. He didn't have to come by as much as he came by. And then another waiter came by and just stood there and kind of did like this sniffing motion, and then he nodded his head and made eye contact with the other waiter. And then the second waiter went away, and my waiter came back, and he was just like, I just have to say something. You smell so good. And I was like, oh, thank you. So I just got like super validated that day that this scent carries and it smells good. So I ended up wearing it again. But the second time I wore it, instead of layering it with You're the One and Miss Dior Parfume body oil, I kept the oil in the rotation, but I replaced the lotion with the sweet citrus. And to me, it was still a good smell. It just made it more citrusy instead of rosy. I think this one makes it more rosy, but I feel like the combination was still good. It still had a really good sillage. So that concludes my perfume tray for the first week of January, or the first week of the year, however you think of it.